Hello, welcome back to Corner Balanced. So I'm standing from the Exige right now, or rather behind it, and the car is pretty much done. And since I did a pretty poor job in terms of filming the rest of the progress since my last video, I guess I was just too focused on putting the parts on and just doing the work. I'm going to spend some time today instead to give you guys a quick tour on its current status and what has all been installed. So for all you Bay Area people who might be watching, I'm actually standing in the parking lot of Ohlone College in good old Fremont, California. This is actually, interestingly enough, the same exact lot that I learned to drive stick on eons ago in my old, slow 300ZX, which was my first car. So it's a little bit kind of surreal, I guess, coming back here. But either way, I had to get out of my garage because I kept filming, in the same location. It got kind of boring. So I took the car out here. It's a little bit windy. Hopefully you guys can still hear the audio okay. I'm also next to this pretty big or busy street over here too. But so actually, before I even go into detail of all the parts and stuff like that, let me do a quick walk around of the car, like in its entirety, because I haven't really done that much. So let me flip the camera around. All right, so here it is. This again is a 2007 Exige S, Aspen White. Most of the stuff is all inside the interior, and most of the stuff is also inside the engine. But this is the exterior. Walk around. Again, that's the titanium arc ray exhaust. We have the Reverie diffuser in the back. Sport Cup 240R Lotus wheels. Again, we have the dual caliper setup, of course. Now coming to the front, you can see the AP Racing calipers actually spaced out the wheels front and rear, so it's a lot more flush now. Wouldn't say it's hella flush, but it's definitely functional, as I like it. But anyway, starting with the panel here, the door panel, this thing has been, of course, reupholstered in Alcantara. The center has been redone in leather. And now the door sills here are all carbon fiber. And then these little vent pod things, I still don't know the correct name of them, is redone in Alcantara. Same thing with the center one right here, Alcantara. That one over there, of course, is Alcantara too. You can see the passenger side door panel card thing. I'm really bad with these terms of these, like, random interior parts, but you guys get what I'm talking about. And the binnacle cover, I believe that's the correct term, has been done in a matte carbon fiber because you want to keep the gloss off the top of the dash, of course. We have these aluminum satin indicator stalks. That's actually not new. I already did that previously. What else is different is, of course, these trim panels here. This one and this entire steering column surround wraparound thing. God damn it. I don't know the names of these things, but you know what I'm talking about. I'm just going to point them out. This thing, the passenger side airbag cover, and then that blank panel over there, just like the one over here on the driver's side. Those are all from the 2008 plus Lotus cars, and the difference is the 2008 plus ones, they have a special coating on top of it, so it feels a lot more rubberized. It feels a lot softer. You can actually kind of see it. It's called like Sensosoft or something like that, and they look a lot more refined in my opinion. So I actually bought them brand new from the Lotus dealer. You can kind of see how my foot getting into this car is kind of rubbing against this one already, and he cleaned that up. Oh yeah, going back to the middle, of course, we have the Tillet B5 seats, carbon fiber, with Dynamica padded inserts, which are, I think, in my opinion, overpriced for what they are because they're just, little pads, but you gotta have them. Very cool seats. They fit very well inside the interior as well. Super hard to install, but that's another story. And before I move to the other side, one thing I'm really proud of and I want to show you guys is this this goddamn, I don't know the name of this thing. It's like the hubs cover thing, you know what I'm talking about? You know what it is. So I actually ordered this directly from Workspell in Japan, was somehow able to find the part number. I ordered 2 of them because, if you guys can kind of tell, it's very shallow, and they don't come this shallow from the factory. That's because the hub on the Lotus is very small. It's not very tall. So I actually had to cut this down myself. The first time I did it, I messed it up, so I'm really glad I actually bought 2 of them. And the second time I cut it, I got it just right with an X-Acto knife, going very, very slowly around it. And then, of course, I sanded down the edge to make it all clean. But what this does is, of course, it covers up the gap that was originally underneath here between the hub and the column surround panel stuff. And yeah, it looks really good. So this is nothing new, but of course this is also my GTC Works Bell hub. Super sick, very solid setup, works, makes getting in and out of the car so much easier with it. And some people have asked me why did I choose to go with the GTC instead of like a quick release. And that's because I just don't like the idea, or just like I guess the overhead of having a loose steering wheel every time you get in and out of the car. So some of you guys may already know this, but the central locking module in these cars are known to go bad. And of course when they do break, you're pretty much locked outside of your car. And basically to circumvent that issue, I just refer back to using the manual key method to lock the car and unlock it. I never really use a fob anymore. So anyway, on this side, all you gotta do is stick this in, turn it, boom, manually done, open it up. Don't have to worry about the British electronics failing on you. And here's another look at the interior as a whole. So I'm really happy with how this whole package came together. Super stoked on it. And of course, my whole mindset and strategy when I was piecing this thing together was to balance out how much carbon fiber I used. And I think I might have mentioned this before, but if you choose to use carbon fiber everywhere, I personally think that's excessive and actually cheapens the look of the interior when you have all this, you know, shiny weave going everywhere. So that's why I think when you carefully balance out the materials that you choose to use, it comes together a lot better like this, in my opinion. So here on the passenger side, you get a better view of my new head unit. This is a Joying 6.2-inch full Android head unit. And the reason why I went with this is because there's just nothing else on the market that fit the bill of what I needed. And that basically included needing a single DIN. I didn't want like a flip-up display, but I also wanted something that still had a display because I need this thing to tie back to my backup camera. So this thing was pretty much the only thing that fit that bill. And you know what? It works really good. The only thing I don't like about it is the capacitive touch buttons on this thing aren't that responsive. So sometimes like hitting the volume up and down doesn't really work that well. You kind of have to like push it twice. And of course, the centerpiece of this entire interior is going to be this Intercooler shifter right here. So I got their ultimate package that includes the cables and everything else, the bracing underneath as well. You can see that this thing goes all the way back. This is all part of the shifter package. This brace right here too as well that mounts the e-brake handle. So yeah, I mean, this thing definitely transformed the way the car shifts. Also got this, because before it had like a plastic center console thing. That's gone now, it's all naked, which is cool. And instead, the buttons that were on that console got moved to this thing, which is nice as well. A little bit more race car-like, I think. This is my 2008 Plus OEM cup holder. Super stoked about this as well. Don't really use it, but it's nice to have a cup holder anyway. So yes, this shifter was definitely very expensive, but still I highly recommend it because it definitely transforms the way the car drives. The stock shifter was just way too sloppy and loose feeling in my opinion. No good. This one, far better. And now moving up to the top, you can see my new Zoom carbon fiber small mini mirror. Again, this is just mainly for aesthetics because if you look at the back, you can't see anything, so there's no point in even having a rearview mirror, but it does look very nice. Made in Japan's fully carbon fiber, 12 weave, matching all the other 12 weave carbon fiber I have throughout the car, including this climate control surround that's also carbon fiber, and of course the binnacle, which I have a towel over right now, right there. And now if you look all the way up, you can see that the headliner inside this car has been completely reupholstered in full Alcantara as well. That's because the stock headliner, even with only 12,000 miles on this car, was already sagging over there on the driver's side. They're very problematic to do that because the stock material is like some cloth, cheap cloth stuff. So anyway, that's all done, it's all fixed, and it's so much more plush now having Alcantara above your head. So anyway, that's pretty much a rundown of the interior. I do need to show you one more thing, which is going to be that color display. There's this guy over here that's been driving around this parking lot for the past like hour. Maybe he's also learning how to drive too, who knows. Anyway, let me go ahead and turn on the ignition to power up that dash and show you what that looks like. I still don't know how to pronounce the name of the company that makes this dash. GAR, something like that. Maybe you guys in the comments know exactly how to pronounce it. Let me know, because I sure as hell don't. It's spelled G-A-R-W, but the dash itself, super sick. Check it out. Boom. All right, so here I am sitting inside this driver's seat right now. You can see the new dash. Very, very sick view. Again, the carbon fiber binnacle. It's awesome being inside this interior, honestly. I mean, stock is kind of underwhelming because there's just so much plastic everywhere. And honestly, the materials that Lotus picked to use for these trim pieces were kind of cheap. But yeah, this is like leagues and leagues above where it was before. Very, very happy with it. So again, this is what the dash looks like. You can see that all the stock indicator lights and everything like that, all the warning lights are still there. You can see how, you know, the brake lights there, oil lights there, battery light, check engine light, traction control light. The indicator light works as well. You see that, etc. High beam light, there you go. And another cool feature of this dash is there are actually a couple different screens you can cycle through. I personally leave it on this one, but if you hit this button right here, you can see it goes to the next screen. This is kind of reminiscent to the stock dash, what it looked like previously. But of course, it's all digital. The next screen shows you some additional meters, and if you go to this screen, it shows you a diagnostic screen. And then going back to the original one. Very sick. Awesome. I love it. Okay, so that was pretty much a full rundown of this interior. So let me go ahead and get out of this thing and pop open the boot. And let's check out this engine bay. And of course, the release switch is right here on the side, right by the driver's side seat. If you just reach down here, there we go. You have to be very limber, of course, getting in and out of this thing, but it's not that bad. I don't know why people always say it's like insane to get into, but you can do it as long as you're not fat. All right, let's go ahead and pop open the engine cover / trunk, whatever you want to call it. Boom. And you can see right here, I have my gym bag actually stored inside the trunk. Who says Lotuses are not practical? Even for as race car-like as this thing is, it's surprisingly easy to just get in and go. I honestly don't have to worry about anything. Came together super nice. And that's one of my favorite parts about this thing, is just how easy it is to honestly get into it and just start driving. I've already put like, 500 miles on this thing before I even do it in a blink of an eye. It idles good, it runs good, temperatures are always good. I mean, yeah, of course, it's a low car, it's a very small car. Visibility is pretty poor, but aside from that, driving it is very, very straightforward. So honestly, drivability wise, I do think you can daily drive it if you really want to. I personally don't, because this car is just a little bit too out there to just park everywhere on the street, in my opinion. So I personally don't, but you could. All right, I know I kind of said that I also used this parking lot when I was first learning how to drive, but again, I was trying to learn how to drive stick in it, so I was doing a lot of stop and goes. But these guys over here, they're just driving in circles. They're not really doing anything. And of course, that's an automatic. So what exactly can you do? I mean, after 100 circles, like what else do you need to do? Kind of strange. All right, anyway, let me give you guys a quick rundown of this engine bay and all that has been done to it. Of course, if you saw one of my previous videos, you know the whole debacle and saga I went through for the fuel tank. But yes, it has a full 54-liter enhanced capacity or increased capacity pro alloy baffled aluminum fuel tank. You can kind of see the new fuel neck assembly I have here. This is a tough jug, what you call it, fill neck. So you can see the aperture is all different. And then put this thing back. All right, starting from the top, you of course have this new enlarged anodized gray bar and plate intercooler. We also have the Swirl fans for extraction. They're not currently wired up. I will do that probably later on. These boost pipes here, this intercooler tubing is like CNC bent or something like that, but it's actually a lot lighter than the stock ones are. And if you look further on, you can see the supplemental aeroduct piping that goes into my 3-chambered intercooler shroud. So that actually comes all the way down to the side of the car and connects into this new duct that goes behind this side thing that diverts half of the airflow from each side into the intercooler. So that's pretty cool, literally. And below the intercooler, we have the carbon fiber theme continuing with this heat shield. On the driver's side, we have the new BOE header swirl tank. And just kind of as the name implies, this replaced my coolant overflow tank, the plastic one, and it actually swirls the coolant as it goes in and exits this tank. So it reduces all the bubbles and all that stuff, and you know what, it looks sick. And just behind it, if you can kind of see in the darkness, is my new ITG air filter / intake. And we go even further into the darkness just beyond that intake. Against the firewall over there is the ECU. So speaking of the ECU, I actually took it out, sent it to BOE Fab over in, I think they're in Kansas or something like that. They put a full torque 300 tune on it, and it feels way torquier across the power band. And honestly, the car feels night and day compared to how it was stock. I mean, stock it made 220 to the crank, put it that way. And to go along with that tune, I had to reduce the pulley on the supercharger down there somewhere to a 3-inch pulley. And what that does is, of course, it increases the boost. And some other supplemental mods for that whole torque 300 tune is underneath here. Actually, sorry, underneath here are my injectors. So now I have Bosch 550cc EV14 modern injectors. And then in the fuel tank itself, I have a Deechworks fuel pump to give it some more fuel capacity. This right here is my new oil catch can, also from BOE Fab. You can kind of see from here the way that the oil catch can is mounted. It's mounted directly to the firewall of the trunk. If you look down here, that is going to be the transmission. Those two things right there are the new cables, the shifter cables. All that work to drop out the transmission, you know, the entire left side rear suspension had to come off to take it out of this hole here. That's a pain in the ass. Was to, of course, upgrade the clutch and flywheel setup. We're really happy with the way the whole package came out. I mean, the hard thing about modding cars is when you change so much stuff piece by piece, you never really know if the whole end package is going to come together well. It's got to be a really cohesive unit, right? So this one definitely came together extremely well. Very happy with it. So other than that, I'm just going to keep driving it, and then I'll see you guys, I guess, next time in the next video. I know I've been pretty bad in terms of making new videos, but hopefully that will change. The whole camera setup, I know I don't want to go into a whole tangent on, you know, cameras and all that stuff, but the camera setup that I previously bought, the Panasonic GH5, the news is for that is I actually sold it. And that's because it was just a little bit too, how do you say it? It was just too much overhead for the videos I was trying to make in YouTube, you know? And even though I bought pretty much everything I needed for that GH5, it was just too much work to edit videos with it because the files are so huge. It would slow down my computer, I would run out of space. It was just like too much work to do. So basically, I ditched that setup. I'm going to a more streamlined setup right here on this nice camera that I have in front of me, which is my phone. But I'm gonna keep trying to do that because at least it keeps me active and out there and filming, which is the most important part. But honestly, other than that, while I fill the gap, I do plan on doing more live streams. I did one, I think a couple of weeks ago. A few of you guys joined. It was really fun. We spent like 3 hours talking about ABGs. I mean, I can't think of any better discussions than that. So I'll probably do that a little bit more frequently. I might try to do it like around the evening time Pacific, just randomly. I can't really schedule this type of stuff, but if you guys can catch it, it'd be awesome if you join the live streams. So it'll be like, yeah, it'll be evening time Pacific and then nighttime East Coast for you guys. So join the live streams, say what's up, and stay tuned for more content. Until then, I'm gonna go drive this thing, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace. I am going to try and relive, for nostalgia purposes, my first days in this parking lot of driving stick. Let's see if I still know how to drive stick. Put this sucker into first, stall it out. Okay, here we go, we're moving. Sick, now let's stop. Do it again, bring the clutch up to the catch point, give it some gas, floor it, launch it, you're good. Yeah, dude, easy, piece of cake. If you want to learn how to drive stick, or just learn how to drive period like that guy in that gray GS Lexus was doing, I guess come to this parking lot and do like 100 circles. And then you'll be a pro in no time. So yeah, cool. But I'm kind of holding the camera while driving right now, so hopefully you guys can get a feel of what the in-cabin experience is like with this Lotus. Very, very unique. It's hard to kind of describe with words, but it really feels like you're in a cockpit, like in a fighter jet almost, as cliche as it sounds. But it's cool. I mean, like, my positioning for the driver's seat is so central too, even though there are 2 seats, because the door sills are so fat. But yeah, man, check it out. Weather's nice today too. That is over there, Mission Peak. Again, we're in Fremont, California. Super nice. I'm gonna get the hell out of this parking lot and go home. Ah, fuck. Got a speed bump. Do a little bit of angling. You know, the good thing about this car as well is, as low as it is, the clearance isn't too bad. But you do still gotta take these fucking giant mountains very carefully. Come on, come on. Okay, there we go. Damn, the weather today is real nice. And yeah, it's also manual steering, but look how easy it is to steer. Way easier than all my other previous manual steering cars for sure. Both my FT and the A86 were manual, but none of them felt as tight or responsive as this steering did. And also the ratio of this one, even from the factory, is pretty damn quick. I like it. Again, we got the little zoom mirror up here at the top, the convex blue tinted side mirrors, which really help widen the whole field of view so you can actually see what's around you. But yeah, man, this is what it's like sitting inside the Lotus and driving around. The center, what you call it, windshield wiper is pretty cool as well. Feels like a race car on the road. All right, that's it. I'm out. Peace.